Alrighty, hey there YouTube. So 2 weeks into Audi ownership and we have our first loaner car already. But I promise it's not what you think. So my A4 is actually just getting a little bit of body work done. And Herb Chambers Audi Brookline was nice enough to give me this literally brand new A4 as a loaner. I picked this up with 30 miles on it, and we have a tad over 300 now. I've had this car since last Wednesday. Today's Monday, so it's been almost a week. My A4 is, let's see, there were a couple dings in this front fender here. So those are getting taken care of. There was another ding in this door up here. It was a little bit hard to see. I'm a little bit picky though, as you may be able to tell from these videos. If you can't tell from these videos that I'm picky, then I don't know. But then there was also a scratch in the rear bumper back here that was missing just a little bit of paint. At least in my opinion, in my dealership experience, before a car is put on the lot, it's always checked for dings and it's checked for scratches that are beyond just like your typical light scratch. So with that being said, I made them take care of that. And here we are with the Ibis White 2020 A4 Premium Plus. This is a little bit boring for my taste. I definitely would not take this color combination. It shows. It's just, this car is impossible to keep clean, number one. And number two, it's a little bit boring. But this is Audi's standard white. So coming up front for 2020, you can see that we have this new updated front end design. Which I think Audi tried to take the sporty route with this, and I think they were successful. This definitely does look a little bit more aggressive than mine does, but I think I'm partial to the chrome, only because this grille, I see just a little bit too much Hyundai Sonata in this. I actually parked this next to a coworker who has one of the new Sonatas, and I'm not going to say it's exact. I think the Sonata looks a little bit more like a fish. But with that being said, it's a little bit closer than what I would have liked to see. Full LED headlights with this one being a Premium Plus with the tech package. And included in the main housings are the all-weather lights, which essentially replace fog lights. I don't know what these are for down here. I don't know if that's a sensor or a camera, or whatever that may be. I haven't quite figured it out yet. But that's that. Honestly, this front end probably wouldn't be so bad if they didn't put this little thing up top here. If this was just closed or like color matched, maybe it would be a little bit better. I don't know. That's just my opinion. You can see that the lights do have the little indicator lights in them there. Audi has a specific name for those. I forget what it's called. Maybe boomerang? I don't know, to be honest with you. But that's that. Coming over here, you can see we have 245/40 Pirelli Centenario P7s. These are the standard Premium Plus wheels. I've tried to make this video 5 times. I'm not doing it again. Yes, these are the standard 19-inch wheels, or 18-inch wheels, I'm sorry. Audi Sport wheels, as you can see, which I'm pretty sure these are just a part of the S-Line appearance package, which is standard on the Premium Pluses, and at least in America. So that's that. Good wheel design, I like it. I think they're just a little bit too basic. Like, they could have maybe went with a darker finish, just to kind of spice this up a little bit. Maybe these look better on a different color, I don't know. You can see that they show everything. So yeah, a little bit harder to keep clean than my wheels. Coming out back, you can see that we have the new chrome strip that runs across the now a little bit tinted taillights. And then of course it goes across the middle of the trunk as well. The little rear lip is still integrated into the trunk, so that's nice. And now you can see that we have squared off exhaust tips. Audi started doing this for 2018. You can see that the finishers, or the tips themselves, are actually attached to the bumper, and then the exhaust pipe is actually down in there. A Looks pretty good. I think I would probably take this rear end over mine. I think it's just a little bit more sporty. Mine's kind of basic looking. But you don't get rear fog lights with these taillights anymore. I like to use those if someone's riding my bumper a little bit too close. It actually seems to kind of, I guess, allow them to back off a little bit. I don't know, but it's kind of like having high beams for the rear. Definitely a conservative style, pretty close in nature to the previous B8 generation. Obviously this is the B9, and being an updated version, it's a B9.5. Coming inside, full smart key on all 4 doors, so that's really nice. You can see that I can lock, and if it wants to work, unlock from the back seat here. Let me just get that out of the way. And you can see coming in, this does have the copy brown leather interior, which is a little bit lighter than my car. I don't know how it's going to come out on camera, but in my opinion, this color is like a little bit too light, or like too pale, if that makes sense. My brown's a little bit darker. I'm partial to mine. I have the nougat brown in mine. But you can see that this does have sport seats, which are excellent. I definitely wish I had the sport seats. These are actually standard for 2020. You can see that it's a full 12-way with 4-way lumbar, so that's nice. And you do have this little manual thigh extension here as well. Previously, you had to option in the sport package to get these seats, and that would have rolled in sport suspension, 19s, that sort of thing. So I'm glad Audi made these standard. Coming to the door, you can see this one also has Audi beam rings. My car is missing that, but turns out that the light is actually up under the bumper, the door rather there. So that's going to be pretty easy to replace. I'll definitely put those in when I get my car back. Another thing that's standard for 2020 is these natural oak wood, the natural gray oak wood inlays. It is like a nice open pore wood, real wood, very nice. I'm glad Audi made these standard. It's a $500 option on my car. And in my opinion, it's just like the best looking trim. I think you can also option in like a medium colored wood, which is too light for my opinion, or too light for my taste. And you can also get like a bright aluminum, but I think the aluminum makes this interior just a little bit too, I don't know. I don't want to call it basic or like cold, but I don't know. I'm partial to the wood. That's just me. The rest of the door panel here is pretty much the same. All 4 power windows, heated power folding mirrors, trunk release down there, and the 19 speaker Bang & Olufsen 3D sound system, which is excellent. It's actually a standalone option now, I think for $950, whereas previously it was part of the tech package. That's in my car, but we'll go over the window sticker in a sec. You'll see the real metal door handle with the real metal accents has stayed, along with the power locks and the 2-person memory seats. Something that is new is this piano black plastic, which coming in, I don't know why Audi decided to go that direction. Previously they used the plastic that you'll find kind of behind this console, which had a really nice texture to it and it kind of matched the rest of the interior. I just feel like this piano black plastic looks out of place. Never mind the fact that it gets dirty very easily. But we'll go ahead and shut the door. If you put your foot on the brake, hit the button to start, it'll start right up. You can see the mirrors start to fold out there. Very nice. 328 miles on this one. Like I said, I picked this up at about 30 miles on it. So I guess we'll start with the Audi virtual cockpit here. This is either a 12.1 or a 12.3 inch screen. Don't know off the top of my head. Not a lot has changed, but somehow Audi managed to make it worse. I don't know why they did this. I really don't. Previously, the engine temp gauge and the fuel gauges sat in these little pods. You could actually see right where they used to sit. And Audi took those away. I don't understand why. There's no more engine temp engine temp gauge, and now you can see the fuel gauge is kind of horizontal, and it's in the middle of a cluster. So yeah, I don't know why they did that, but the rest of it's pretty much the same. You can flip through, you can bring the nav up. You can also view the audio there, date and time. Obviously you can use this little scrolly thing to scroll through the computer. You can see 21.1 mpg. It's not that good, but I haven't been easy on this car by any means. And the driver assistance display there. And then what everybody's favorite trick, bring this over to the nav view, and you get your full navigation display there. Except the annoying thing is now, whereas in my car, you know, like I said, engine temp, fuel gauge, you don't need the fuel gauge up here. So this is actually part of the rest of the display. Whereas now your map is kind of interrupted by the fuel gauge. So again, I guess a minor gripe, but kind of unnecessary in my opinion. But that is my opinion. Coming over here, you can see automatic headlights, very nice. This is the button for your all-weather lights. We'll go ahead and we'll put those on. Like I said, this is where your rear fog lights would be if you had them. I guess Audi did away with this for 2020. Paddle shifters over here for the 7-speed DSG. They work very nice. They're very responsive. Your adaptive cruise control in typical German car fashion is down here. So that is nice. This one does have a heated steering wheel. That's part of the cold weather pack. You have your Bluetooth buttons over here, and then this is obviously for the audio. And this works just like this does. Steering wheel tilts and telescopes, so that's nice. And your rain sensing wipers are over there. The rain sensing wipers work very well. No complaints there. Coming over the screen, you can see that we now have a 10.1 inch display. This replaces the previous 8.3 inch display for cars with the tech package, and I believe a 6.5 inch display for cars without the tech package. You can see that it is a touchscreen now, which is very responsive. Like in terms of touchscreens, the system's probably the best in the business, at least that, you know, out of recent cars that I've experienced. It's quick, snappy, graphics look excellent. I'll show you the radio looks like there. There you go. Just shut that down. Turn that down. Back to home here. And if you go into vehicle, you can see Audi Drive Select. This car has 3 different drive modes, or 4 if you want to count the individual. Comfort, Auto, Dynamic, and Individual. If you come into Individual, you can actually adjust the drive and the steering. I like to leave mine, the drive mode rather, in balanced, and I leave the steering in sport. It's a little bit different than mine. In my car, balanced is called automatic. So that's a nice little change they made for 2020 there. And we'll go back home there. Coming down here, you can see the tri-zone automatic climate control, which looks excellent. Heated seats, obviously for the driver and passenger. If you had cooled seats, those would be down here. And I like how these buttons, nothing's really changed here. I just never went over this. I like how you can kind of glide your finger along the buttons here. You can see if I go down to 3-zone, it'll actually let you, or if I go to set rear rather, it'll actually let you set the rear, and you can actually put on the heated seats for the rear passengers. So that's nice. And there you go. And go back to off. Down here, you can see the Audi Drive Select. So essentially what I just showed you in vehicle, you can access by those buttons. Leave that back in individual. Automatic start stop off, traction control off, parking sensors off, and that is to shut the screen off. Engine start stop button down there, USB port, 12-volt power outlet, 2 cup holders. You can see the white ambient lighting, which is a nice touch. Obviously you have the cubby down here. I don't know why Audi went away with the MMI controls. I suppose you don't need them for a screen this large, but I think the screen's almost a little too big. From certain angles in this interior, it just does not, to me at least, doesn't look like it sits right. Almost like it's too big for this interior. I don't know. I like to sit a little bit lower in the car, and this kind of tends to get in my field of vision just a little bit. I've gotten used to it. I will say this was a lot more of an issue when I first got in this car than it is now. I did get used to it. But still, I think I'd prefer my 8.3-inch screen with the solid MMI controls. Only because I feel like for a touchscreen, besides the fact that it gets all fingerprinty and you have to clean it, I just feel like I have to take my eyes off the road to look at this. Whereas with my car, you know, I know offhand what the buttons do, and kind of I can get a feel for, you know, where I'm going in the screen without really taking my eyes off the road. But I don't know, maybe I'm the only one. Another gripe I have with this interior, and this goes back to my car as well, Audi got rid of the hard radio presets that were here, and obviously you have to access them through the system now. But they never bothered to move these cup holders. I like having the storage cubby here, don't get me wrong, but I really feel like they could have shifted these cup holders down, or maybe flipped them around the other way. I don't know, just to make them a little bit better, because it's not so much an issue in this. I mean, the placement of them still sucks. But in my car, I'm constantly like hitting the radio buttons or hitting the MMI controls. It's just kind of, I don't know. So I think they could have redid the cup holders rather than just putting this cubby here, but that's just me. Here you have your shifter for the 7-speed DSG. Push the button in, foot on the brake, push the button in, you flick down for drive. You can flick down again for sport. You can see you can put it in sport there. Back to drive. You also have a manual mode that you can see kind of over there. So that's nice. Hold it up for reverse. You can see the backup camera there with the guidance lines and the sensors, and that whole sort of thing. So that's nice. That radio's still on. And push for park. Electronic parking brake down there. Very nice. Hard radio button controls over here, so you can kind of turn this up and down like a normal volume knob. You can flick it back and forth to change the radio stations. You can also press the button to turn the sound on and off, as you may be able to tell there. Another little storage cubby here, more of that natural gray oak wood, which looks excellent. You have a sliding and tilting console here, standard VW Audi stuff, nothing different. Coming over to the glove box, you can see that it is definitely a decent size. You have a nice little Quattro badge here. And while we're there, let's go over the window sticker, as I try to do this with one hand. All right, so you can see 2020 Audi A4, 2-liter turbo, 7-speed DSG. You can see some of these standard features there. The black headliner is standard now. That was I think a $2 or $3 $500 option on my car, or maybe it was $2, $3 or $5. I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah, you can see some of that there. Ibis white, Okapi brown, premium plus. Nav, driver assistance, 3D Bang & Olufsen, cold weather, and Audi beam rings. Total sticker on this one, $50,045. 2432, 27 combines your fuel economy. So 2432 is unchanged from my car. My car's sticker for about $49,800. So I'd say pretty similarly equipped. I think they lowered the MSRP a little bit for these 20s, but then they made kind of, you know, some stuff extra optional, some stuff standard. So honestly, I think pretty much all the same. At the end of the day, it's probably all a wash. Frameless rearview mirror, and obviously these touch sensitive LED lights, which are a nice touch. You can press that button there and all the interior lights will come on. You can see maybe the two of them in the rear. There you go. So that's nice. Sunroof is up here. One touch automatic's a nice feature. We'll kind of leave that open for now, just a little bit more air in here. Come into this visor. You can see the light come on there with the mirror. That looks nice. And yeah, I think that is going to be about it. Jumping back to the ambient lighting for a sec. If you step up to a prestige trim, you can actually change the colors in this. You can adjust the brightness, but you can't change the color. But I think the white looks pretty good anyways. I wouldn't change that. You can get a better view of the Audi beam rings there as the sun starts to set. And it's only 6 o'clock. It is getting to be that time of year again. And I definitely need to get to a warmer climate. Coming up back, you see, I don't believe the back seat's class leading or anything, but I didn't buy the car for the back seat. So, and what is this yelling at me for? Remote control, not detected. Okay. So coming back here, you can see the rear heated seats and the rear climate. So that's nice. You have 2 more USB outlets and another 12 volt back here. I may have forgot to mention there's an additional USB cord kind of on the other side of this in the center console. So that is nice. Back here, all the materials carry through, so that's nice. And then you do get a center console with the cup holders that I truthfully don't even know how to pull out, so I'm not gonna mess with it. I haven't even been in the back seat of my own car yet, so that goes to show just how much I really need it. I think we already went over the trunk, but I'll hop back here just for a second anyways. You can see the 20 or 40-20-40 split folding rear seats, hinges that do not crush your cargo, so that's nice. And yeah, LED plate lights. Come on. Toss this back here again. You can see the Audi beam ring on that side. Yeah, I think probably from this angle, that screen just doesn't, I don't know, just doesn't look right to me. And obviously, as part of the cold weather pack, you get the all weather formats. All right, let me flip a turn signal on for you guys now that it's kind of dark enough out. We will pop the hood. I'll show you the turn signals. And that is gonna do it, because everybody raves about Audi turn signals, the little sequential LEDs. You can see there, looks pretty cool. And coming up front. Come on, there we go. So the same 2-liter turbo 4 carryover from the B8. Makes a little bit more power now. I want to say about 256 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. It's something in and around there. Solid motor paired to the 7-speed DSG. Just an absolute dream to drive. Very little turbo lag, which is always nice. I've kind of ranked on 4 cylinders in the past, and I do miss my V6. But this car is quite a riot to drive. But I think that is about going to do it for the full tour on the loaner here, the 2020 Audi A4 Premium Plus. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, obviously leave them down below. And thanks for watching.